Some of the mothers who were used to stay at home to do house chores, so this new normal might be an old normal for them. Not many changes, I think. But for the mothers who work at offices, this new normal is a kind of new experiences for them. To give us better understanding about their experiences as a mother, I invited 3 guests for today's show. So let's not wait any longer and turn your attention to the screen.
Natasha Nangoy Sinaga is currently a mother of a 5-year-old little girl. She and her husband are from Indonesia. She is pursuing her PhD in business here at AIIAS, while her husband works in Manila. In her spare time, she enjoys doing arts and crafts, homemaking, and assisting her daughter with her learning and music lessons. Elizabeth Dominic is currently a full-time mother of 3 kids, Hannah, Jerry, and Saki. Her husband Anup is taking PhD in business at AIIAS. She is a part-time student of Master of Public Health with emphasis in health promotion at AIIAS. She is a finance professional holding a U.S. Certified Management Accountant or CMA, an MBA from AUP. She has 12 plus years experience in various multinational corporations in Dubai, UAE. She has 5 plus years experience in teaching in the Philippines and in Thailand. Luata Saukuru is from Fiji, one of the tiniest islands in the Pacific Ocean. She came here in AIIAS on February 2018 as a supporting wife to her husband who finished his studies early this year at the seminary as a MAS student. She is a proud mother of 3 girls and a boy, and they are grateful to God for bringing them here in AIIAS. It enables them to grow academically, spiritually, and also strengthen the bond as a family. She loves cooking, baking, reading, and interacting with other people. She personally thanked the Lord for His plan to put them as part of the Tower D family because during this lockdown, they had enjoyed each other's company, and for the mummies, they were very close and even share each other's burden, and they did many things together which really impact their kids and their family.
Pandemic have brought a lot of challenges for us lately. I just want to ask you, how are you doing this time, or how are you doing during this pandemic? I think Ms. Owata eager to see her piece first.
I'm doing fine, Sister Wawi, and I thank God by God's grace. Me and my family are doing fine here in AIIAS.
Oh, that's good. And how about the cassava cake that you've been baking? It's still...
Oh yes, that's one of the favorite of Tower D.
And I think I asked you, Miss Natasha.
Well, Auntie Wawi, today is a different day because we get to do this talk show, and I'm a bit nervous, but I'm also excited that we'll be sharing our experiences together. So yes, today is a good day for us.
So thank you so much for your answer. And how about Miss Dominic? How was the garden?
How's the garden? How am I?
I mean, how are you doing this during this time?
Still
of
alive
pandemic?
and kicking, ma'am.
That's good. Thank you so much. So, again, I would like to say thank you for your answers, mothers. Now we will be flashing on the screen pictures of what reality all over the world.
Oh no.
If you look at these pictures, we can see the struggles that everyone has been facing this since pandemic started. But we do not know how much about the challenges that mothers are experiencing at home and how they've been taking care of their families. This time, I want to ask you, mothers, one question. What were the challenges you've been facing the pandemic, and how did you cope up with it? I mean, these challenges. By the way, for our viewers, I would like to encourage you also to share your experiences as well, or share your comments comments regarding our topic for today. What were the challenges you faced during this pandemic, and how did you cope up with it? Anyone? Or Miss Dominic would like to start?
Okay. I think we'll answer the first question first.
Yes.
What were the challenges that we faced during the pandemic?
Yeah.
Oh my, it's overwhelming. Because just the thought of it, just the thought that we won't be able to go outside buying our food.
Yeah,
Of course, that's the first, the food. So we were like, oh, it's too much. And we already made plans before that. So I thought that during the summer break, we would be able to go back to my parents' place and enjoy organic produce. So that's one of those challenges. And then later on, because it came March, right? So it's almost the end of the school year. And then the second one was during the middle, where it will be already on the school period. So we're like, homeschooling. It's just so tough just by the thought of it. But they may have other challenges as well.
So thank you for sharing. But I want to ask you, like, aside from this, challenges that you feel, can you share about us, like, emotions? Like me, when the first lockdown happened, I feel like I was angry, and because something happened to family, the helper, something like that, I was angry. I end up like I was angry with my husband, but actually he's not. So can you share us, like, how, what those emotions, anger, or like fear of being not getting food from outside, fear, is this lockdown will be longer, months or years, something like that?
It's just that worry that should we hoard food? Because you are thinking like, what will happen? And we normally had walks. Me and my husband would have walks together. And we were like, why can't we do something with it? And then we just had conversation with some of the students. And we're always, every time we pass by that side of AIIAS there in the faculty, this land can be utilized for something because we need some food.
So I can see, by that word, it seems like fear of giving food, sure, yeah?
Yes, because we have 3 children and they are still small. If it's just me and my husband, we can. But with children under your responsibility, under your care, it's a little tough.
Okay. I think I will choose Miss Natasha Sinaga.
Well, thank you.
Challenges?
Yes, thank you, Auntie Wawi. Your question about what challenges we faced as a family. True, we did felt fear and anxiety, especially in the beginning when the pandemic happens. I remember it was March, right after the graduation. And you see, my husband goes to work in Manila. So right after the graduation, the Monday, he went back to work. So everything was like normal. But then
Nothing normal.
COVID-19 happened. And so I had my fear and anxiety, because then I worried, what if he gets contracted with coronavirus, because he had to commute every day to work. And it's public transportation. So that, and then I was also worried because Kiora, my little girl at home, is still small. So what happens to her? So there were all these what ifs, those fear of the uncertainties that made me sometimes not be able to sleep at night. But towards the end, no, not the end, right after several months, we were able to adjust, because Akiko now starts working from home, and then AIIAS started implementing online school, and then Laura Karnick also started implementing online school. So we were all stuck at home. So we had to adjust. We had to adjust. So those were the challenges. First, it was fear. Our emotions, we have fear, anxiety. But then the challenges was, are we able to cope up with this new normal? Because now we're all at home. And usually, for me, the time that Kiora goes to school from 8 to 12 in the morning is the time I can be productive and do my studies. But now, things are different. Yes, so I have to prioritize. So these are some of the things. I'm sure all of you have encountered this.
I think I remembered one time that we talked in the the first floor, or I think in the exit door, what do you call this one?
Yeah, the stair at the back. Yeah.
But I think you shared to me that when the lockdown is happened, me, I was angry, I was frustrated, and I have fears. But you, it seems like you're happy, yeah.
Well,
You
yes.
remember
At
that?
first we were. At first we were afraid, but then we realized that it was sort of a blessing in disguise because he used to work in Manila the whole day. I'm preoccupied with my studying. Kiora is studying in the morning. We only have time in the evening together. But now with this lockdown, we get to spend quality time together. And at that time, because our professors in the business department were away, and right after the graduation, there was a break, a 2 weeks break. We really did enjoy that. We went on picnics outside. Yes, we had our joggings were prolonged until 10 a.m. But then right after the 1 month, the end towards April, reality struck. So we had to adjust. We had a helper coming in every week. But due to the AIIAS restrictions, the helper were not able to come in. So now we really have to learn how to cooperate again. So these were the challenges.
Thank you so much, Miss Natasha. And now let's go to Miss Lawata, Miss Fiji. I do understand that during the lockdown. I mean, not before the lockdown. It was graduation time, right?
Yes.
And we know that your husband was graduating graduated March. So I think the feeling like you're going home or you're so
over the
what's
moon,
the challenge?
Excited.
So can you tell us your challenges?
Thank you, Sister Wawi. Yes, my husband did graduate on March, and we were really looking forward to go back home. And our family back home were looking forward to see us after we left in 2018. It was a long 2 years for us. Yes. And then this lockdown happens. We were disappointed. Yes, and like we were really depressed. Especially the kids. They were really looking forward to go back home, to meet our relatives and their cousins, our family. So we didn't do much. The COVID-19 struck, and we are still here. And as months go by, we thank God that we are still surviving and we are well because we are surrounded by good neighbors, and we call AIIAS as our home, and people in AIIAS are as our own family. And when the lockdown happens, and it was we were being told that there's only one person from your family should go out. And for us in our family, we go together as a couple to do our shopping, but I'm the one who put stuff in the cart. But when this COVID-19, and I asked my husband, who will be the one to go outside? And
So you do like this, like
yes. And he said, no, you are still feeding Timmy, and you have to stay. If someone got sick, it's me. And I said, okay. And I respect that. So my husband went out once a week. And when he comes home, one of my disappointments is that some of the stuff that I need, the ingredients to go in the pot, it's not there. Yes. And that's when I'm not something that I don't, because I love cooking and I love baking, yes. And that's one of my,
Your hobbies.
yes.
I think one of your gifts.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Auntie Wabi. So, but I manage, and with the good neighbors, we share each other's burden, and I am thankful for that.
Auntie Wawi, can I add something?
Yes, Natasha, you're welcome to add.
Thank you for sharing, Auntie, about your feeling depressed of not going home. But on the other side, your presence in Tower D helped us cope with this pandemic because your laughter is contagious. Pastor Eperi and your laughter can be heard until the 4th floor.
My
And-
family, 8 o'clock.
And if this is how you are depressed, then please be depressed every time because it's helping us.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
laughter.
Thank you, Sister
So
Natasha.
that's why
Thank
my
you.
family call them, for the viewers, we call them the laughing family. So we are the neighbor
I think
of the
you should
laughing
give a
family.
sample of that so that the viewers would also know.
Pastor Epeli, are you here?
Yes, thank you so much, Sister Luwata and Miss Dominic and Miss Sinaga. Now we need to go to, not need, but we go to the next question. Can you give me please? How did you cope up with these challenges? What things or a person or anything that helps your family cope up with these challenges during this pandemic? Who wants to? Miss Luwata? Maybe let Sister Luwata rest and let's go to Miss Dominic.
Okay, I think coping up has something to do with a lot of factors.
Yes, I
And
agree.
the first factor there is AIIAS itself.
Yes.
The place where you live would first give you that comfort,
It's
So
for
the
that.
good thing is AIIAS is like when me and my husband were talking, it's always like, oh, you could really see the hedge that God put around this campus. And the good thing is the administrators, even though it's like, I may not say that it had been a part of their risk management plan, but they were able to cope up because this pandemic is something new. Even the United States of America is struggling to cope up, but they were able to manage it by securing that the market will always be there.
Yes, thank God
The
that
AIIAS
the-
store is always open. So with that kind of assurance, it gives you peace. Yes. So at the same time, when we go back to a little more micro, it's just, I could say it's just your openness to change.
Correct.
Imagine me, a wife of a husband who knows nothing of cooking anything Indian. It's so shameful, right? But during the pandemic, I was able to learn to cook sambar, to do chapati, or you don't know that yet. I may bring in the next potluck.
So I can see that pandemic. The
Yes.
pandemic was
Brought you
the
skills.
pandemic was a blessing to us.
Exactly.
Yeah?
So it's like we need to just be open to change.
Yes, I
Because the
agree.
thing was, there is also that time. We don't normally walk as a family, but
Yeah.
in the beginning, because we're like, okay, you can't associate with other children, so we walk as a family together.
Yes.
And then we have more discussions. And the good thing was that my husband had some time as well. So I told him that, okay, I can't necessarily cook Indian. If you are so desiring to eat some Indian, then you should be able to cook. And he did. He was cooking on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So that kind of like, yes. So the challenge was like, okay, so it's good. But it also motivated me to learn because, of course, we need to serve our husbands, right?
Yes.
And the family, the children are also happy. So our openness to change. At the same time, we also need to kind of like take some risk. I don't know, maybe Dr. Ginger will reprimand me on this, but as Tower D, yes, as Tower D, we kind of like Tower D, yeah? We kind of like took some risk here, and I think that kind of risk we would be able to discuss how the risk that we have taken as a tower helped us as a community. Because the thing is, we are social human beings. We need to interact. It's so boring to just talk between you and your husband, right? you need some motherly talk, right? Girls talk, women's day out, something like that. So with that, the Tower D, first it started with just the two families having worship together.
I remember
From D7 with the Sirimbimbis, and then your family joined, and then Natasha mentioned that,
we were converted.
oh, can we go there? But we're not invited. So that kind of thing. But mind you, viewers, we still practice the safety COVID protocols.
Hashtag social distance.
Yes, we have social distance. We have service for the kids, service for the bigger kids. The mothers are on that side and the fathers on that side. So we are still, even though we are a bit risk taker, you can say, but we are still abiding with the protocols.
I can see that we are really a student, yeah? Student of AIIAS. So,
Let me go back a little bit to what Auntie
Yes,
Beth
okay.
said a while ago about being in AIIAS. I think, yes, that's one of the privilege that I think not many people have for three major reasons. First, because we live in a closed compound, it's safe to say that AIIAS is like one big family. And in this compound, closed compound, we were strictly were implemented all these health and safety securities. We know the going outside, not many people come inside campus. So we felt assured that our family is safe in campus. And also the second reason is that with AIIAS being a closed compound, we get to freely enjoy exercising, walking in the nature, spending quality time outside, and then the children running around, because it's very hard to keep young children inside the house. And I think it's very important that they are able to run freely for their immune system. And the third reason is that because we have communities that support us, our neighbors, our local communities, the Fijians, the Indians, Filipinos, the Indonesians, and many others that constantly meet through Zoom and give encouragement through messages. So this has been one of the reasons how we were able to cope up. And then you were mentioning about the community, the importance of having community. That's very true. During the first few weeks that we had the worship, we were quite reluctant to join. Should we? Should we not? But then we hear you guys singing. Should we join? We're the only one at home. Then we decided, yes, the children. And then my little girl, Kiora, started going outside of the window. Why are they worshiping and why are we not worshiping? So we had to explain to her that we are also worshiping, but inside. But then everyone starts, gathering together. So, okay, we'll join. And I thank God that we joined because we have learned so much, me and my husband, and me personally, because our interactions, especially with the mothers, have taught me a lot. Your experiences, you're way above. So I need to learn a lot of things from you guys, from Mrs. Sirimbimbi, Auntie Rose Espero. So learning how to train up a child, learning new recipes, and just laughing, releasing all the stress
Laughing
and tension.
families.
I think that is one of the way we were able to cope up with this COVID-19.
Yes, I'm grateful to hear that, Miss Natasha. So I think I can testify that. Of course, I'm apartment D. Yeah, I'm in a D tower families. So during pandemic also, not also, but this pandemic, during pandemic, this is the time that I felt, you know, mingling with you, the mothers. I'm a new mother. By mingling with the old mother, not old as in old, but have a lot of experience and wisdom. This time I felt not being judged by you, and I'm grateful to God of that. I felt like, okay, we're the same. We're mothers. We're the same. Mothers is like this, experience, and you have challenges with your children. I go, oh, I thought before that I'm just the only one suffering. How I felt like being a mother, being a new wife. This feeling of something like, oh, I have challenges.
Yes.
I think their family is like a perfect one. But
Like
I feel like
like
I'm
I say,
comfortable.
Auntie Wawi, how Auntie Lowata always inspires us. Sometimes it's so stressful. I have only one girl at home while doing other chores, and I'm already stressed up. Oh, why can't she just listen? And then while cooking, you hear Auntie Lowata and Pastor Epeli laughing. They have 4 children. And they're laughing. I have one, and I'm crying. Why? There's something wrong. I need to learn from them.
Yes, thank you so much. And yeah, your commentary, the things that you showed, I think helped the mommies. The tower. I think it helps how to cope up. How about Miss Lawata? Miss Saukuru. I think you have a lot
Sister
of
Wawi.
things to be.
Yes, since I mentioned that the disappointment that happened
Yes,
in my
yeah.
family, that we were really looking forward to go back home. At the same time, experience working as being a pastor's wife, working in the field
Yes.
for 7 years.
Yes.
Then we left home and we came here for further studies. The kids may not realize, but for me personally, I was kind of having some feelings, mixed feelings.
Like mixed feelings with
Yes, because
the ex.
knowing my husband is a very he's very passionate with his work. Yes, his ministry, and he's mission oriented, I can say. He loves doing the work for the Lord. Way back home, he goes early morning and come back when the kids are asleep. And that was something that's why I was having mixed feelings. Because I realized if we go back home now, that's when I will start to the closeness of our family here in AIIAS. When we'll get back home, the kids may not realize, but now, since I have teenager girls, for my eldest one, she's also coming to realize that. And I am thankful for this pandemic. It keeps us here for a few months. It's it's 8 months now. And we have a quality time with our dad. And I think on God's time, when we go home, I will be with mission of our church is that I will go.
The other thing that I would like to highlight regarding coping up is the activities that we are doing in our tower, where the training that we give to our children is tremendous, and it's just like overflowing. It started with music lessons on violin and piano, and then Pastor Espero started teaching Hebrew class. Uncle Akiko started teaching choristering, and we have the parenting for the mothers. We also have cooking class from your dear husband, pizza. We have gingerbread cookies, and we have the buko parties. But the other thing that is really helpful, especially for me, because I would like organic produce, is the garden. We started with our own individual gardens, and then we moved to the garden that's helping the community, which helps our children, right? With selling, and that's teaching them entrepreneurship, teaching them that the principle of tithing, teaching them the principle of teamwork, and yes. So it's just like as I said in the beginning, that we need to be open to change. We can't do anything about it. It's beyond our control. But if we adapt to it and then fight with that positive attitude, then we will see so many blessings from it.
So thank you so much, Auntie. She wants to be called Auntie Bev. Yeah. But now I would like to say thank you again. Thank you so much, Mother. And now we have a quick overview of our challenges that our mothers are facing. And this is a very good opportunity to learn from each other.
Hi everyone, I am Akiko Sinaga, and I want to express my gratitude for a special woman in my life. She is my wife. She is someone who is busy. But I know she is busy because of us, because of the family. But despite of her busy schedules, she always has time for us, the family. I'm so grateful, and I'm so lucky to have a great cook at home. I'm so lucky to have a creative interior designer at home. I'm so lucky to have a trustable teacher at home. But above all else, I'm so blessed to have someone who is close to God in her life every day. Thank you.
Hi, Elizabeth. I just want to tell you that, we are in this boat together for 11 years, and it has been a fantastic journey. We have 3 kids, and you are a blessing to my life. And I just want to say you are God's gift to me, and I thank you for being very patient sometimes, and I appreciate you. So God bless you. I love you, and see you at home.
Well, hello everyone. I just want to take a few moments to share my gratitude for my wife. I am thankful to the Lord for giving me a good wife. She has been very caring and very loving, and I really appreciate my wife for, especially during this challenging time, this pandemic, for being faithful to her duty at home. Not only that she looks after me very well, but she also looks after our children very well. And I really appreciate that. And I want to thank God for my wife, and I thank her so much for the enormous task that she has been putting forth to our family. And it is my prayer that the Lord will bless her and continue to be with her, strengthen her, as she continues to look after us, stay here at AIIAS and our future ministry. Thank you very much.
To further help our guests in their challenges at home, as well as those viewers who are watching with us, let me introduce to you our counselor for this morning. She has a doctorate degree, major in psychology, a registered guidance counselor, a former dean of College of Arts and Humanities. She is married to Mr. Neptali Martishu, and God blessed them with 3 children and 2 grandchildren. She is presently a professor of Adventist University of the Philippines and has a consultancy office at Santa Rosa Hills. Let's welcome Dr. Flor Villa P. Martishu.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with the mothers.
So, we have heard about the challenges that our mothers experience as a counselor. In your expertise, how did you see it? And what the mothers been through? Is this normal for them? Or can you give us some advices for our guests and also for our viewers who's watching with us today?
Thank you very much for inviting me with the mothers today. I'm happy to be here with you, listening to your experiences, which are for you, it's the new normal. No, you're very lucky. No, I've been hearing what you're saying. You're very lucky because you're having a good time, seemingly. No, even with this pandemic, you're still doing very well. And I thought I have nothing more to say. But then let me just add something to that. Although I commend you for being optimistic and for being in a place such as this. You're very lucky. Not everyone is experiencing what you are experiencing. So God is really good. God is good to you. So I'm glad that in spite of the negative things happening around us, you could still see the beauty, no? The positive effects of this negative event in our life. Okay, so with that, while some are crying and you are laughing, which seems to be unfair, I wish I am a part of this family. But one thing that I saw in you that really, gave me a good feeling is the strong social support you have for one another. I commend you all for that. Everyone in your community, in that, what do you call that tower? Tower D. I was wondering what that was the first time I heard it. But you're very lucky in Tower D because everyone has given attention. No? It's not only you mothers who are benefiting from what is happening around, but it's also your husbands and even the smallest children. No? You're doing activities for them. Keep that up. I hope the others who are not doing this would also do the same thing. And I sympathize with you, my dear, because you're almost to get out of our country. You're almost to be reconnected with your family. But then you're lucky because you found a new, bigger family here. So, again, that's another way of showing support to someone who is, because I felt you said you were depressed at first, no? Because of that disappointment. But then, by being there, by being a good neighbor, no, you're giving a very good social support. And I really, appreciate what all of you are doing. I hope these activities done in the D Tower would not only be limited to that tower, but it could also be extended, to the other towers. I do not know how they call their apartments. No, but I hope it could be extended to everyone. We're here in the new normal. We cannot do other things. We cannot do other things except what you said, to accept and be open to whatever is happening. No? Be open, adjust, be flexible, and see the beauty of everything that is happening. Optimism is very important. Being happy is very important. It's actually one of the best things that we can do to be mentally healthy. And smiling alone could make us mothers look beautiful. Mothers, smiling alone, I do not know if fathers would agree to that. But, a smile on our faces would give a good aura in the home. Now, we are the light. We are the light in our families. We're the mood setter. So, in spite of the negative things, in spite of the pandemic, in spite of the fear, in spite of the loneliness, the frustrations, let's just maintain. Maintain the beauty that God has given to us.
True. Correct.
You're welcome.
So thank you so much, Dr. Floor. And it's a really very, I mean, not very, but it's a wow today has been full of learning and love. Once again, thank you so much to our mothers, Miss, Auntie Beth, and thank you, Auntie Natasha and Auntie Luwata. So thank you also, Dr. Marticia. Auntie Floor.
Thank you
Yes,
to
I mean,
Auntie
Dr.
Wawi for
Floor.
having us.
No, because
You're welcome.
I remember when I was in AUV, so it feels like that. So by the way, this is not the end of our show. This is only the first segment of our talk show. And we will be right back in a minute. Thank you so much. We are back again in our second segment of our favorite talk show, AIIAS Moms Speak. A few moments ago, we met our first guest and our counselor who give advices to our mothers. And once again, I would like to say thank you to them. This time, we invited 3 guests who give insights and wisdom about the quote that will be flashed on the screen. Let's see who they are and let's watch their videos.
Jorgita Marafila Pumba Sirimbimbi is from Angola. She is blessed with 3 children. She is a graduate student taking Master in Public Health, specializing in lifestyle medicine at Adventist University of the Philippines. Mary Grace Ladion de Guzman is from the Philippines. She is currently taking a PhD in education in AIIAS, specializing in curriculum and instruction. She has 2 beautiful children and a very supportive husband. Park Jung-min is a graduate student of Master of Arts in Education, majoring in Curriculum and Instruction. She has 2 children and she is assisting her husband who is taking PhD in Old Testament. She studies and takes care of her children at the same time, and she is grateful for this role as a mother, wife, and student.
Welcome, Miss Angola. Miss Ribimbi.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome too. And thank you, Miss Grace or Miss De Guzman.
Thank you for having me here.
And for the last, thank you, Miss Korea. Miss Park.
Okay, thank you very much.
Once again, I would like to say thank you for 3 of you for responding of our request to be the guest in this segment too. And at this moment, we will be flashing a quote that will be flashed on the screen, and I would like you to give insights and wisdom about it. So here's the quote. When things do not go on your way, remember that every challenges, every adversity contains within it the seed of opportunity and growth. And that is what Bennett T said. So I think I can ask Miss Grace to start it.
I really would agree with Bennett when he mentioned about it, that for every challenge in life, it is equal with opportunities and growth. And, you know, these challenges in our lives will allow us to come out shining.
Oh, shining like the star, right?
Yes, yes.
Shining like Miss Universe. So I think Miss Sirbimbi.
To me, I agree with Mrs. Guzman, what she said.
Yes.
It's really true because, during this pandemic time, we are facing so many different feelings.
And it's too much, right?
Yes, it's too much.
too much.
It's too much. So, I learned much during this time. Let me describe what I learned.
It means she had learned a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can imagine a lot.
Okay.
And I took time to be more friendly with God.
Oh.
Yes. I feel like I grew.
So you grow.
Yes.
Like growing like a tree.
Yes. Because I had so many different experiences during this time.
Yes.
One of them, I could cook more healthier food for my family.
Oh, that's nice. I feel like I'm
Yes.
hungry. Healthy.
And
Healthy
so,
foods.
yes. And you know what I did?
Yeah.
Also,
I'm very excited to know that.
yes. I did garden.
Oh, gardening. So you're
Yes.
saying you have a garden.
Exactly. I still have now, and I can get some vegetable in there, and I can feed my family. So I think I'm so grateful for this bless, especially in this time. Okay.
I think you mentioned that you experienced a lot, and not like just what we call that one, growing like a tree. You're growing like a tree. May you say more something like your experiences and what you have learned during this pandemic?
Yes. For example, I had confidence in God, and this confidence, what I had with God, it makes me grow.
Oh, so it means you're growing
In so
by
many different
confidence
ways, yes.
with God.
Yes.
And that's nice. I mean, nice learning.
Well, I want to add something with that
Okay.
thing.
I'll go.
Based on my personal experience, it is very important at this moment that you will have a faith in God.
It's true.
Yes,
Because,
that's true.
when you have this faith, it will allow you to be focused of what you're doing, and it will keep you calm despite of the severity of the challenge. You don't, suffer from mental illness. You just, go each day like, no, it's the normal day. And the thing is, when you have your faith in God, it assures you that everything is in control by God Himself. And so you are assured that God is in control of your life and there is nothing to worry about it.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Grace. I think Mr. Bimbi
Yes,
has
that's why
something to add.
I live one day at the time.
I want to
Wonderful.
sing one day at the time.
Yes, one day at a time. So because of the confidence what I have, and I still have with God, I can live one day at the time.
Oh, that's a nice experience. So now we heard their what they learned during pandemic, but can you, Miss Rimbi or Miss Grace, can you tell me like example myself when the first lockdown happened? I feel like I was angry and I was frustrated. I feel like I'm in control and myself, and I became like a crazy. And it ends up that I quarreled my husband. No, I'm saying this because I want to also to ask you, did you feel something like how I felt, so that in our viewers they know that aside from we have faith and confidence, we learn is it reality also that we feel that we are I was angry, I was frustrated, I have fears that I don't have food to eat, or is this time of lockdown is going too long that there will be time that we cannot buy food to at the outside?
Yeah.
Yes, I think you are. I can see both of you. You're eager
Yeah.
to share.
I think this kind of feeling what you had, each one of us, we had too.
Yes.
You know why? Because all this situation around us is new for each one of us.
It's new normal.
It's
Not
new. So,
Hashtag new normal. Yeah.
yeah. So it's normal to have this kind of feelings. No one can say, no, when I heard about this, I could stay so calm and nothing happened. To me, I think it's not true. It's not true. I don't know what you think about. Maybe you have a different idea, Miss.
Okay. I have different experience with during pandemic time. I have learned many lessons during this pandemic. First, I felt the importance of my family.
Oh, importance of
Yes.
family.
I think God never puts us in suffer. I think there is a reason for this moment. For me, this time allows me to spend a lot of time with my family. Can you imagine?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was able to spend too.
Yeah, so
I agree.
yeah,
And I love it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So you're saying pandemic makes that
Yeah.
family closer and more
Yes,
spending time.
I'm sure. Yes, so I think before, especially before pandemic, I was working very hard, so I couldn't spend time with my children. So, but after being unable to work because due to coronavirus, I was very worried when I couldn't work. But it made my family happier because I managed time to focus on my family and God. I have
Amen for
time.
that.
Yes, I have time to cook delicious food for my children and family. So, and then I have fun with them. So I think despite the tough situation, we can live with gratitude. I
Oh,
think,
yes,
yes.
I agree with that, Miss
yes,
Park.
You should focus more on God's grace. God has given us. So not just focus on the bad situation.
Yes.
So yes, this is my opinion. That is my experience.
So, I really like what she shared is, related to what I experienced as well. The lockdown has its positive and negative side, but I wanted to highlight the positive side of it. So, the two of you were able to cook healthier foods to your family. And I am so happy that my husband, since he's not going out for work, he's the one cooking.
Oh, wow.
It's so nice.
That's why
And
you have.
so during the lockdown, he learned to bake, do the banana bread and those things. And so after our online classes, we just go out and eat our treat. So it's a wonderful
So
thing.
you mean it's a blessing for
It's a
you?
blessing. Yeah, so much blessing. Another thing is, this lockdown gives me the opportunity to have an elaborate time to teach my children spiritual and practical things in life. So, with this lockdown thing, we sit together and we create our schedule. So, the time for your classes, online classes, the time for the chores, the time for musical instrument practice, playtime, and the rest of it. So we were able to set our expectations and what are the things that we really need to accomplish despite that we are just inside the house. And so because of this, it's drawing family members together. The time that you miss because you are working very hard, you run to and fro, you're running here because it's already class time and so you need to run. These things are already closed. There's nothing like this anymore, and it seems like you are chilling out. You are more relaxed than running here and there when you were still working with a daily schedule.
That's why, adding what Grace says, I became more grateful with life. I have reason to feel like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss De Guzman and Miss Serbimbi and Miss Park. I think I would like to ask one thing for Miss Park, because you mentioned that your gratitude, this what you have learned, and you mentioned also that like your fear. Aside from fear, what emotions aside from fear that you felt that during the first lockdown?
When I felt very uncomfortable during pandemic time, I cannot go outside.
Yes.
My children have complained to me, "Mommy, I want to go outside. I want to play with children." So I think so. It is very uncomfortable, but by communicating with God, my perspective on seeing pandemic made me appreciate many things that God has given to me. So I read Bible. I have so many time to read Bible, and I point one. I recite memory verse with my children. It made us to grow up spiritually. So I think the pandemic is very good way to God in my family. So yes, I'm so happy. Someone said, "Why is so happy during pandemic?" But before I was so busy. I could not spend with my children. I could not feed to my children well. But now I can. I have mentioned one more times. The best thing is that I can sunset worship with my family. Before that, I came home at 10 p.m. after I worked. I could only see my children's sleeping faces.
Yes.
But now I can worship
You can
together
hug,
with my
you
family.
can
I'm so
kiss.
happy. Yeah. So yeah.
When you go to bed, you can see them and you can get their way.
It is very, very, very. Thank you. Very. When I go to bed with my children, I sung lullaby, and my children is so happy. Yes. So.
Thank you so much for sharing. So, to our viewers, you learned a lot from our guest. Like Miss Rimbi said, that she learned how to be confident, and Miss De Guzman said that she learned how to be to have faith with God. And Miss Park, you learned how to spend more time for your family, give more time to your family, and she learned to be gratitude in spite of this pandemic time. And this is very a wow for the mothers and for us and for those viewers, because we are learning so much from our mothers today, So to our viewers online, I'm sure you have your experiences too. So if you have any lesson or experience you want to share, please feel free to leave your comments in YouTube and Facebook, so we can all learn together. So before we have a short break, let me show you the video of your loved ones who put efforts to surprise you, mommies.
My dear wife, thank you for your support and patience during this pandemic situation. Without you, I cannot continue writing my dissertation. Always thank you for our family, and please keep doing these things for our family. Thank you. I love you.
Hi, my name is Marlon de Guzman, the husband of Mary Grace Ladion de Guzman. I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to my loving wife for being a responsible partner and mother to our children. Despite her busy schedule, she finds time to guide the children in their studies and music lesson. She also makes it sure that the family did not miss the morning and evening worship. We also work together to give Bible studies to our children, especially the 28 fundamental beliefs during the time of pandemic. She also establishes the 1 p.m. prayer habit. Since the 100 days of prayer of the General Conference program, though that program was over, we still continue to practice that habit. I am very much thankful to God for giving me such a wonderful wife like her.
I thank God because I have a wonderful wife. God bless me to be with her, and especially in this during this pandemic phase. She was a support, spiritual support, emotional support, even economical support, as she is. During this time, we could eat properly to overcome all these issues, health issues. Spiritually, she was there to comfort us. Even technically, as a nurse, she was there to follow us. We were blessed, and we still blessed. She also blessed our close neighbors in our Tower T, as well as other students here in campus. I'm thankful. God bless you, Maravilla. I love you.
Thank you once again for your time, Miss Ribimbi and Miss Grace and Miss Korea, Miss Park, for your time and for sharing your experiences and the challenges that you've been through throughout pandemic. So at this moment, we will be having a short break to the mothers. You can relax, mothers, and have some water, and we will be right back with the interview. But before we forget that, I would like to say thank you in behalf of the Mom Speak Talk Show to Miss De Guzman. Happy anniversary for you and for
Thank
Sir
you so
Marlon.
much. Thank you so much.
Welcome back again to AIIAS Mom Speak Talk Show. This is segment number 3, and we have 3 guests, and let's find out who they are and watch their videos.
Danielle Rios is from Brazil. During her time here at AIIAS, she has been supportive wife to her husband on his PhD theology studies. She is a proud mother of 3 boys, and one of her greatest joy is to be present in their lives. She loves cooking healthy food for her family and spend time reading and journaling. Rose Munar Espero. She is from the Philippines. She is here at AIIAS to support her husband in his doctorate studies in religion. At the same time, she is also pursuing her master's degree in library information science in Manila. She also used to work as a medical doctor secretary in AIIAS clinic. Now she is a full-time mom to 2 teenage children who serve as her inspiration. Her desire is to train them to be God-fearing and make use of the talent God gave them to reach people out from sin to Jesus. She is inspired to cook healthy food for her family, love to learn new things, and explore greater heights for God's glory. Lalmun Mawi Kachap is a student in AIIAS pursuing a PhD in education, emphasizing in curriculum and instruction. She is married to Sandip Lloyd Kachap, an alumnus of AIIAS. They have 2 children, Micah and Ella. She is here in AIIAS with her children, and her husband is working as a university lecturer in Thailand. She has 5 years of corporate work experience and 6 years of university teaching experience.
Welcome, mothers. Thank you for responding to our request to be the guest today. So, my question for you, for the mothers, is what were the differences you noticed before and during pandemic? And how the situation different in every family? May we start, Miss Moiti?
Thank you for giving me the chance to speak up what
You're
had happened.
welcome, Miss Moiti.
First of all, when it comes to my family, we face a lot of challenges. Children being at home, and I'm also being a full-time student. And the studies has to progress on, and everything become online, and with the gadget sharing, and sometimes they have to be cooped up in the house for some time, and which is not very ideal for children, you know, and they get frustrated. And as a mother, I'm also frustrated with my classwork, their classwork, the homework, and the housework. Everything was very challenging. But yes, we take it as a challenge. We work together as a family. We find some ways to deal with it. We try to make some of the life interesting, like the assignment. Initially, it was difficult to cope up and check everything what my 2 children are doing. I come up with a plan that I will teach my elder one. My elder one will teach the younger one. And
that's a good strategy.
if not, I cannot sit with both of them. So I had to somehow, we work it out that way. So in a way, the pandemic was a blessing for us because my elder son tend to become more responsible because he takes care of the younger one. And the younger one, even though she's still small, she has her own more responsibility than when they were in school. So in a way, we take it as a blessing. So I think it happens with the other family as well. And they got to learn the violin, which that was a blessing for us, you know, from February. And for the violin class as well, you know, the same thing. We follow the same routine where the elder one is teaching the younger one again.
Oh, it saves money.
Saves money, plus he earns something out of it, you know. Because I said I cannot all the time monitor what they are doing. So I said, you are responsible for this. And the younger one sometimes will not listen, and he has to come back and say, Mama, she's not obeying. I am the teacher, but she's not obeying, you know. In a simple way, they learn to be responsible, and they learn to take care of one another. And they learn to play together better. So
yeah, it's a challenge, but we take it as a blessing.
Thank you so much, Miss Moiti, and thank you for coming today. So let's go to Auntie Espero. Or Auntie Rose. I mean.
Thank you, Auntie Wawi, for inviting me in this Mom Speak. You know, as a family of a minister, I mean, coming from a pastor's wife, the difference, one big difference that I found out when before pandemic and during the pandemic is actually in the spiritual aspect. You know, we've been used to, my husband has been used to speaking to different churches, and my kids have been involved also in the in the orchestra. They have been playing when they were invited in the church, something like that. But when pandemic started, you know, there was really a drastic change because church stopped. So somehow, for a moment, we felt something like a void in us, in that spiritual aspect. But then as time goes by, we found out that we can minister more. Why? Because we are not only, it's like we are not just being imprisoned in one place, although we are just situated in one place, but we can minister to different parts of the world. So my husband has been invited to speak at different parts of the world. The same with my kids and also me. So somehow it has broadened our sphere of ministry. And that's one thing that we really thank, because if not because of pandemic, I think we cannot go to, although we have not been to those places, but I think we will not have that opportunity to minister to other places at the comforts of our home. So these Zoom meetings is actually a blessing to us spiritually. Yeah, so it has somehow helped us to grow more on our spiritual life. The downside also that we have discovered, you know, my family is a very active physically. You know, my son, you always see him in the gym. The same thing with Ahava. She wanted to go to the soccer field to play soccer. The same thing with Pastor Espero. But when pandemic came, we were deprived. You know, so you see the feeling of, oh, the kids would say, oh, just inside the house. But you know, another door opened. Gardening. So somehow our energy, the kids' energy, has been directed to gardening. So it meets the physical need to exercise, something like that. Also, another differences that we noticed is that the school activities. Before the COVID, I think 1 or 2 computers is enough for a family. But now, one should have, like, each member should have one, because online classes, Zoom classes through Zooms, making requirements. So seems like everybody is on the screen. So I think that's a difference, one of the differences that we discovered. But to sum it up, the time before we have been very busy, but during the pandemic we have more time to talk together. It's like before pandemic, it's like busy, something like that. But during the pandemic, you have time to lay back, you know, and something like relax, and time to talk with the mothers, to laugh. So I think this is something like a blessing, you know. So we find, although others find pandemic negatively, but if you look at the brighter side, it has more blessing for us as a family.
Thank you so much, Auntie Rosie. And now I would like to ask, Miss Resilient, you look more beautiful now. Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Miss Danielle.
Thank you. It's a
Yes.
pleasure to be here today. Actually, when the pandemic started here in the Philippines, actually the lockdown, right? My oldest son, he was studying at Hong Kong, and we had to brought him back. The day before, the government here in the Philippines closed the borders. So we thank God because God allowed us to bring him here before. So he came. He had the online classes, and I think like 2 weeks after, we also became under restrictions here. So my two other sons, they finished the school year. So 5 of us in a small apartment, my husband with his studies, my oldest son also full-time online classes, and 2 younger ones with no classes at all. So I found myself like, what is my space here in this house? I need some space. So I believe that, one of the things that you can be able, that can help you to be able to deal with the changes in life, is to have a very good mental health. And I went through depression the past years, and I know how it is, so I really tried my best to do everything that I could by God's grace and power to make sure that as a family we were really connected and we could talk openly about our feelings, address our feelings as soon as we noticed that something wasn't right, and make sure that we were really in a close relationship with each other and also with God. So I noticed that during the pandemic, we became more close to one another and to God. Our family worship became more, fulfilling and fun, and was really, really good. The kids playing the instruments, singing together, so it was a blessing. And but at the beginning, I would say that was a little bit stressed. I was very stressed because I was with these 2 kids without classes, and at the beginning, they wanted to go outside to play as they were used to, and they couldn't. And I could notice, looking through my window, I could see like my son Raphael sitting on a bench, talking to another friend sitting on another bench. They wanted to get closer to, but at the beginning it wasn't possible. But later on, a few days later, they said, okay, and we try not to, to see what they are doing, really. So, yeah, I'm not saying they are not my kids. When they were playing in the soccer field, I'm not saying anything because I knew that, especially my kids, they love sports, and if we could just take all this out from them, I was really worried that this could affect their mental health. But I would say that my life as a woman, as a mother, didn't change much, because here at AIIAS, I'm just supporting my husband on his studies and also supporting my kids. I'm a full-time mom, different from the rest of, I would say, most of the mothers here. And I homeschooled my children in the past, so I kind of know how it functions in the house, having the kids study in the house. So in this sense, I would say that it didn't change much my life. And somehow I was used to some kind of isolation because of health issues. So I was used to stay at home most of the time. But of course, it came times when I think, okay, God, I need some air, I need some space, I need some sun on my face. And we try to connect to our families also in Brazil, to have that connection, because we also, right after Philippines, also Brazil was on lockdown, and the numbers of cases were just rising and rising, and it was a bit scary. And I made a decision as a mother not to talk much about COVID with our kids. Right at the beginning, my husband was looking at it, seeing the news, and Danny, the numbers today is this compared to yesterday. And one day, my youngest one, Benjamin, said, "Can we change the subject? Can we talk about something else?" I said, "Okay, from now on, no more COVID-19 in this house." And it was good. It was good because we could, shift our minds to really enjoy our time together as a family. And also, I kept telling my kids, we are blessed to be here inside AIIAS, because you can go outside, we have this nature, you can play with your friends. So let us just be grateful to God and hope that this will, finish soon. And this is what we are looking for. If we still have to, go through this for quite a few months, I think we are not that worried anymore, because we kind of learned some strategies to just carry on and helping one another, supporting one another. And I'm so grateful because we have here a very close-knit community, and this is really, really important. We have to understand that many people around the world don't have that, and we can see that is increasing the number of people with depression and suicidal behavior, so we just have to say thank you, God, because during this pandemic time, we only have to say thank you, because we are in a very good place to raise our kids during these challenges.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Daniele. And before we forget, let's watch the video that your loved ones prepared for you.
Hi, Danny. I'm here to express how grateful I am for having you as my wife and the mother of our children. And I'm really thankful for your commitment in order to make a positive impact in the life of others. And this is possible because of your trust in God, and I really admire that. And I'm thankful for you to trust in me. So many times we have made so many decisions together, but there were times that I had to make some big decisions, and you have trust in me and each one of them, and I'm really thankful for that, and I want to express that to you now. And I want to express my gratitude for you to trust in this way, and wherever we are, for being committed to our family, to me and to the kids. And especially these last few months, as we have here the pandemic, and as things are not exactly how we would like them to be. And I admire you for doing your best to create the best environment for our family. Your commitment towards my studies, toward the studies of the kids and our well-being. And I know that this doesn't come with struggles, and but I'm really thankful because you have never given up. And I admire you, and I wish God's blessings to you, to our kids, to us as a family. And may God continue with us, and love you.
The wise King Solomon says, "An excellent wife can find, for her worth is far above jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life." I am glad to have a wife describe the wise king in Roseum and Sparrow. I am blessed to have a good, supportive, and trusting wife. She is not afraid to put her hand to work and take responsibilities in the home, taking care of the welfare of our children and all of the children outside of our home. She knows her personal worth. She does not neglect her needs, both physical and spiritual. She is ready to help others and is always active in the ministry the Lord entrusted to her. To my ever dearest wife, many daughters have done nobly, but you excel them all. I love you with all my heart.
Hi, I am Sandeep, and I am currently a lecturer in Thailand. My wife Moite and children Micah and Michaela have been in AIIAS since October last year. Just like many around the world, we too have had to deal with the consequences of the pandemic. But despite the many challenges that we've had to face, there are certainly things to be thankful for. I particularly am thankful for my wife, who has not only had to deal with the many academic challenges, but has also had to step into the shoes of being both a mother and a father. I'm thankful for her patience in taking care of the children, and also I have to thank her for having stayed in touch with all our loved ones. This last term has probably been one of her heaviest terms throughout her program, but through God's grace and her persistence, she has been able to get through this term. This is the longest that we've had to stay away from each other, and I look forward to the time when we can be reunited as a family.
Once again, welcome to the last segment of our talk show. At this time, I would like to introduce to you the mother, the president of AIIAS, Dr. Ginger Kiring-Wheeler. Welcome, Dr. Ginger, to our show.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for responding us to our request to be the guest today. So, Dr. Ginger, do you hear what the mother's been throughout this pandemic? As a mother of AIIAS, did you feel the same feeling of what the mother's been through? Is there any difference of what they experience? What you experience too? What wisdom you can give to the mothers throughout all this pandemic, or is there any challenges differently?
Well, I think there are some similarities. I'm not used to being called the mother of an institution yet, but I really think you're onto something about the ways in which a woman who is in leadership might react in the same way as a mother would in a time of crisis. My first lesson, I think, came during the time when Taal volcano blew. And there was a lady in the community who wrote to me afterwards with an email, and she said, I saw a number of people evacuating, but I was watching you. And you weren't going anywhere. And so I said, when she goes out the gate, my car will be right behind hers. And for me, that statement said to me that the leader of an institution or a mother in a family has to be a calm presence. And when you're a calm presence, people are watching you for their cues. And if you can keep your calm through a time of crisis, your family also can stay calm. So then as the pandemic hit, it was time to stay calm. But my first question was the question of how are people going to eat? And, you know, that's what a mom thinks of right away. How am I going to feed my kids? How will I feed my family? So actually, my first concern was how can we make sure there's food for people to eat? And as soon as we verified that the veggie market sellers could come in and sell the vegetables and the canteen could be open, and we had a local police person who was willing to escort our canteen person over to SNR to get goods, even though we couldn't travel there, and we could bring things inside campus, then I started to relax. I thought, okay, we have food. Now the next thing was just informing myself. And that too, I think, is what a mom would do, is what are the things that I need to know about the threats to my children? You all were thinking about How could my child be exposed? What would happen if someone in my family got sick? How do we deal with this? And I had to think about the same thing except for the whole campus, knowing that different people would look at it different ways. And a mom typically has a soft heart. So there's a thing that sometimes happens between moms and sometimes with the dads towards the mom that is criticism. And you have a very soft heart, and if someone critiques the decisions that you make as a mom or the way that you're bringing up your child, it's really a deep hurt. So as the leader of an institution through a time like a pandemic, I felt the same thing. I have to make my best decisions, and then I'm going to have to consciously say, if someone criticizes that decision, I'm not going to let it bother me. But you have to make that deliberate decision that someone else can't tell you how to be the mom of your family. I think the biggest lesson for me, Wowie, was the lesson of balance, because the whole nation went into shock immediately. And at the same time, there were some of the moms who were here who were saying, I felt depressed. I will tell you that as the leader of this institution, I was fighting depression. I'm an extrovert. Suddenly, we all had to stay home. The offices were not open. I didn't know how much we could see of other people. And my husband was thrilled. He's an introvert. He was happy to stay home. No church, no worship, no going to work. He was fine with that. I was having a really hard time with that. So I think that those who are on campus will remember that I was out walking morning and evening, greeting people as the families were out walking around campus, because that was the only way that in my mental health I could survive. And I remember specifically a situation where I was dealing with this depression and thinking that everyone on campus is depressed because I'm making them stay home. And I was taking that personally. Everyone is depressed because of me. And we were walking around by Tower D, and I saw Natasha Sinaga out there with her child and several other children on the picnic blanket. And I started to apologize to her that I know this is a hard time. Oh, no, she said, we're having a great time. I get to be with my child. I get to have picnics outside. And suddenly it was with that comment that she made to me that I realized that not everybody was struggling with depression in this. We would probably all go on an emotional roller coaster, but that in every hard time, there are good things that can be found. And on this campus especially, it seems to me that people are good at looking for and pulling out the blessings in a hard time, which as a mom you have to do. You have to help your kids to be resilient. And so you have to pull out the blessings in the hard time and focus on those blessings. And I think many, many people on this campus have done that. Many of the moms and dads have done that. So that was really good. The final thing, the lesson that I learned, and maybe the kinds of thoughts I had to think, are the same things that parents have to think about. How much do I limit my children for the sake of their safety versus how much do I allow them to make their own choices? For me as the leader of the institution, I have to implement the government things as much as possible. That's my public persona, and as the president, I have to stay true to that. I don't want AIIAS to get in trouble. I don't want our ability to work well in our community to be limited because we disregard the government's rules. However, I see us as different than the government. I see the whole of our campus as a big house. So for me, can we please let all of those rules go when we're in our big house and enjoy one another like a big family would do, and then we can do all of those rules when we go out the gate. Well, the government's not so excited about that. So I had to speak for what the government rules were. And you as a parent have certain rules that you know society requires of your kids, but for their mental health, you also have to give them some freedom. So there are times that I have turned my eyes away. Oh, you're going to get together and have a bunch of people meet? I didn't see that. Oh, you're going to go out and play a game of soccer? I didn't see that. Whatever it might be, there has to be a certain sensibility of balance for the sake of the mental health of your children and your family when you're going through a crisis. And sometimes the rules need to go out the window. It might be the rule of going to bed at a certain time. It might be the rule of what you play with or how much screen time you have or whatever it is. You as the mom need to say, The most important thing is the balance and the mental health of my family. I, as the leader of an institution, have to say the most important thing here is the balance and the mental health of the people on this campus. So there are times I'm going to look the other direction. On the other hand, when the regulatory people come in, I want everything in place. One of the places that I really have not even tried is to ask children to mask up. It is such a hard thing on them. And we all, like I said, it's like we're in one big house. The children need to be able to play with one another. And so I have not tried to force the issue with the children. And I found myself saying to someone, exactly how bad of trouble could we get in if the regulatory people come on campus and see the children without masks? Like, would it just be a letter where they tell us that we're doing something wrong? Or would it be a fine? Or what would it be? Because then, just like a parent, I have to say, how much am I willing to take on behalf of my child's mental health? And so those are some of the questions that I've had to have. So yeah, a lot of things like the moms, the ups and downs of the emotional roller coaster, the setting of rules, the deciding to move the boundaries on rules, the taking care of the needs of the children, the time with spouse, all of those things. I don't know, I didn't hear the moms mention it, but I actually found it a little bit hard to be in the house with my husband all the time. And I love him dearly, but we're used to being in two different places and doing our jobs, you know? And so sometimes I just thought, I want my own time. And moms have to guard that too. Moms have to try to find their own time somehow, where maybe they can leave the kids there and go get together with the other girls or whatever it is, just for your own mental health. There you go. Just those short little escapes, 5 minutes or whatever it is. You need to have those kinds of things for the balance in your life. So those are the ways I've experienced it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ginger, for your sharing, you know. So the mothers and also to our viewers, they know that it's the same feeling, you know, all of us. So once again, thank you for the wisdom. But before we end, I would like you to watch this video that prepared especially for you.
Hello everyone, Dr. Jim here, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Ginger over there who has been working to get me home. Yes, I'm still stranded in Arizona, as well as the 10 other AIIAS workers that are stranded in fields afar. I also want to thank her for working with a mother's heart and a leader's mind as she strives to make life better for everybody at AIIAS. And most of all, I want to thank her for saying yes on that famous day that started our lives together. Thank you, Dr. Ginger.
Thank you for watching.
I'd like to thank my wife, Wowie, for working very hard on this project. I've seen her struggle throughout the past couple years, working on her MBA. And I just want to tell you that I'm very grateful to have you as a wife, as a mother to my child. I am thankful that you were able to support me through my education. And I just want to let you know that I love you and keep working hard.